I have to say it, Sip didn't stand a chance. Nope, sorry, he couldn't compete against a demon, 1,000-year-old demon at that, who knows all the moves of lovemaking and seduction. Yes, Sip's intentions were good, but for those of us that read the book, we all know what happens to him in the end. Wink, wink. If you watch my other video, Why Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend, I talk about how I would have loved to have had a demon, and how demons simply got a bad reputation over the years. However, demons/spirits have played a pivotal role in the history of slavery and also in women's liberation. And I believe that society, including Hollywood, showcases demons and spirits in a bad light to inhibit the downtrodden and the disenfranchised from attaining power. I will explain how and why in this video, so please stay tuned. Truth be told, we all have voodoo in our blood. Our ancestors served primordial gods. Some required human sacrifices, some wanted blood magic, but most of the old gods rest on principles of harmony and love. Some people may believe that witches were the first healers and thus paved the way for doctors and other scientists. After all, it was Suzanne, the first witch in the Mayfair legacy, who used herbs to mend, and yes, you guys guessed it, to heal. Throughout the season, we see the tension thickening as suspicions arise. Witch hunters believe that Suzanne and other women in the village are dancing with the devil, having midnight satanic rituals, and committing the ultimate sin of not worshiping their one God.
Look for men of God.
No! I've done no wrong! I've done no wrong!
Suzanne is caged and sentenced to be burned alive until Lasher rises up and saves her. They make a pact. Lasher promises to be Suzanne's little demon boy, while Suzanne will be his feisty little witch. Suzanne passes, but her powers and her little demon Lasher are transferred onto her daughter and from her daughter after that. Each generation amasses more wealth than the previous one. The Mayfair witches travel from Europe to Haiti, settling down into the Garden District in New Orleans.
But really, that house is famous for its witches.
Sorry. What?
With the help of Julian and Cortland, two of the family's male witches, they work to fulfill the prophecy. This is a prophecy that states that the 13th witch will give birth to Lasher's heir.
Ancestors, mothers of our mothers, bearers of our coven, on this day I ask that you give me your blessing.
And he will be formidable and possess incredible powers. But for those of us that read the book, we really know what happens. Wink, wink. Rowan the 13th Witch is a doctor. She has suspended all her beliefs in the supernatural in exchange to be deeply involved in the hard sciences. Rowan begins to explore her powers, only she is continually admonished by Carlotta, the family matriarch.
Redeem her soul from evil, O Lord. For Antha, redeem her soul from evil, O Lord.
Carlotta wants Rowan to denounce Lasher and join her against the battle of good and evil. Sip, Rowan's new boyfriend, wants Rowan to do the same.
He's inside your head.
Because he's part of me.
No! This isn't you, Rowan!
Only he believes that Lasher wants to use Rowan so that he himself can become more powerful. Who is right? Well, that's the genius of Anne Rice. She writes amazing stories and incredibly engaging characters where everyone is right. The Mayfair Witches carries the underlying theme of hidden powers that can be derived from practicing witchcraft. Or to put it another way, the hidden powers that come from gods who we choose to worship. We've seen this theme play out before in The Craft, where 4 young girls dibble and dabble in the craft, and they do things they really don't understand.
Same time. The only good or bad is in the heart of the witch. Life keeps a balance on its own. You understand?
Not really.
And my friends, this is the biggest problem with witchcraft. Many people simply don't understand it. You see, many of us are afraid of witches. We're afraid of the demons. We're afraid of the spirits. So much so that even mentioning these topics has become taboo.
In her. I fear for her and for her unborn child. Oh dear God, I fear for us all.
Black magic and voodoo has become synonymous with evil. However, we failed to understand that these practices were discouraged to curtail slave revolts in America's South and throughout the diaspora. Slaves will call upon their gods, Ogun, Shango, Jemaja, Oshun, and Ishualigba for guidance, support, knowledge, and most importantly, courage. The Haitian Revolution was started by a voodoo practitioner. Healers used their knowledge of herbs to mend and even heal wounds. In fact, it's safe to say that if it wasn't for these witch doctors, these hoodoo practitioners, and these black magicians, blacks in America probably wouldn't have survived slavery. Demons, spirits, and deities didn't only help blacks. Women of all creeds and color found themselves knee-deep in oppression. Many of them were continually berated and belittled and abused by their male partners with no real sense of recourse. That is until they called upon the great goddesses of Freya and Hecate for serenity and maybe a little bit of revenge. Yet the smear campaigns continued with the purpose of not just demonizing indigenous religions, but discouraging others from practicing them. As a result of this, a lot of information was lost.
Your daughter is long dead, and you are a sick little bird.
Worse, many of us don't have the same mindset as our ancestors. We don't live as close to nature as they did. So when we try to repeat their rituals, they just come out all wrong. And that was a problem with Rowan and Lasher. Everything just went all wrong. If Carlotta would have spent her time teaching Rowan and her biological mother Deidre about Lasher, they would have been better able to handle him.
I'd read enough scripture. I knew his true nature. So I rejected him.
Lasher would have never been able to get a grip on any of these witches. Instead, they turned Lasher into the boogeyman, just like they turned all of our ancestors' gods into monsters. And like I said in my other videos, all gods are neutral. They possess both the good and bad aspects of nature. And these gods are only going to bring out what's already inside of you. So if you truly believe deep down in your heart that these gods are pure evil, then that is what you will manifest. In truth, Rowan from the Mayfair witches and Nancy from the craft were both suffering from the same afflictions. They both wanted to attain power but didn't have the strength to wield it. In short, it was their weaknesses that caused their downfall. Nancy wanted to use her newfound power to control almost every aspect of nature, while Rowan never learned how to fully surrender, to love someone entirely. Without this, she lacked foundation and easily lost her footing, giving Lasher the perfect opportunity to seduce her. And that, my friends, is why I am Team Lasher. This was another video essay by the Modern Mystic.